Derek Chisora is defeated once again, and we're asking the question, is Derek Chisora relevant in the heavyweight scene going into 2018? If you appreciate the content, please consider jumping down to the comments section, sending me a comment on what you think about Derek Chisora, and consider hitting that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. So, as I say, Derek Chisora was defeated on the weekend against Kabayel. Went the distance over 12 rounds, with two judges giving Kabayel the nod and the other declaring his opinion as a 114-114 draw. So I'll admit I did not closely score the fight, but I would have just edged it to Kabayel. I mean, judging a Chisora fight is always... It's always a big problem. It's always a big problem. And for me, I've said this on so many occasions about Derek Chisora, it's a massive problem for him. And the reason why is his style. His style, a lot of people don't like, they don't get, they don't appreciate. So a lot of the work that he does will go unnoticed, unjudged, and unscored. And that's why in the past we've seen him lose fights where a lot of people have said Chisora should have won this fight. How did he not win this fight? Or at least, why are the judges' scorecards so highly in favour of the opponent? The fight was so much closer than it was. And it is because of the style that he has. He has this unusual style. There's a lot of work rate in there. It's messy. There's not a lot of eye-catching shots. A lot of the work is done on the inside, in the hold, and there's always a debate of whether what gets scored. And there's a lot of people that just won't score anything in the hold, and therefore Chisora misses out big time, and it's an unfortunate thing. I was just looking at some of the comments on one of the videos that had the fight on, and you've got comments like Chisora should hang up the gloves, terrible performance, Chisora was terrible, terrible, and then you got terrible decision. Chisora came forward the whole night, pretty dull affair, did enough to win. Someone saying Chisora was robbed. Chisora should give up. Two amateurs. Chisora was paid to lose. Chisora was robbed. Poor performance by Chisora. Just not motivated. And it goes on and on. And this seems to be, there's like this general opinion of Chisora that, one, he doesn't really care, and two, he's not good enough and he's not putting enough in. And it's like I just kind of said, it's so difficult to judge. And it's like I always see kind of Chisora, he's kind of like, he's a throwback, one of these old school bruisers, or even kind of like a Rocky, where he just keeps coming forward, he keeps taking punishment, he's dishing out a bit of punishment. But unlike Rocky, he doesn't have that stinging punch to get him like those knockout wins. And that's why Chisora just doesn't have a very good stoppage ratio on his record. And you look at his record at the moment. It's 27 wins, which is not bad, with 8 defeats. Okay, but in the last 5 years, his best victory is a debatable, controversial stoppage victory over Malik Scott, where a lot of people were not happy about the way that finished. They believe the referee shouldn't have stopped the fight, etc. So it's weird. But then on the other hand, you're saying you've got to give props to Derek Chisora, because what he's done, he hasn't been afraid to go in and fight top guys. I mean, over the years, Vitaly Klitschko, David Haye, do you know, in Tyson Fury twice. He's fought Kubrat Pulev, Dillian Whyte. Okay, so he's had some real tough fights, and he's lost them all. He's lost them all. So we move forward and think, that is irrelevant. And the reason why I put this, I started this video, was because I saw on Twitter maybe that he put a tweet out. Let me just see if I can find it. Right, so this is his account. This is the whole reason I created this video, was because he put a tweet out saying, very disappointed with my performance today, but I promise I will be back stronger. I will be back stronger, right? What is he expecting? You kind of think, what's the career path? He puts a lot in, but he struggles to get the results. He's never going to be able to beat any of the top guys. A lot of the elite super heavyweights are going to be too big. They're going to be too athletic. Okay, and he hasn't got the stinging power to make them respect him. Okay, you look at people like Dillian Whyte, where he went to war, and for me, I edged it. I actually said that Chisora should have won that by a point, or even a half a point. Okay, it was a very close affair. I just edged with Chisora on that, and the reason why that went like that was because Dillian Whyte entertained the war. He was happy for them to be up close, to be infighting, but someone else, other opponents with better movement, better reach, more speed, or more telling and stinging power, they're not going to do that. They're not going to let Chisora lay on their chest for 12 rounds. It's not going to be the case. So you really have to wonder what's going to happen with Derek Chisora. And he's been someone who I've always appreciated on the scene. I've admired. I've enjoyed what he's had to offer. I genuinely have enjoyed a lot of his fights. And I think that he's been hard done by in a lot of these fights. We're talking going back to the Helenius fight. He clearly won that by a couple of rounds. It was disgraceful, the referee in there. You think about the first Tyson Fury fight, it was a wide scorecards to Tyson Fury, but a lot of people thought it shouldn't have been wide. But then a lot of people question Chisora came in at his career heaviest, but not just his career heaviest, he was out of shape. There was something not quite right about it. He didn't put the effort in there. He didn't put the effort into it. He had a cracking go at Klitschko. Vitaly Klitschko just was outclassed effectively. Klitschko's just power, he just chopped him down. Okay, and you look at more recently, like I've said about Dillian Whyte, I think he just edged it. Kubrat Pulev, again, the scorecards were wide for Pulev, but for me, I thought it was very, very close, and possibly Pulev really just edging it by maybe 1.5 points. That's about it. So he's been unfortunate. So you're talking about, where does he go from here? Is anyone going to be interested in having a matchup with him? I mean, people will. I mean, he's probably still there's still a bit of money in him, and if he's still about in a couple of years, these young kids that are coming up, he will give a good test for them if he still wants to be involved. But you've got to be thinking he's got to be more than that. Got to be more than that. And I look at the list, and I've spoke about it in the last week about who Anthony Joshua's going to fight, who Dillian Whyte's going to fight, and we're in a bit of a strange situation on the heavyweight scene where there's not a lot of obvious matchups in the mid level outside of the champions. There's a lot of people that don't deserve title shots. They're up and coming. People have dropped off the scene. It's a weird situation. So when you try and think about what Derek Chisora can do to, we'll say, rebuild, there's no obvious paths. There really isn't. And for me, I think he's going to struggle to get a decent fight unless it's against Dillian Whyte. he could fight on a card in these useless fights that he's done in the past, like basically all his wins. But the Dillian Whyte fight, I can see as a viable option. Now, Dillian Whyte, he wants to be tackling titles. He wants he wants AJ, he wants Wilder. Is he going to get those fights? There are other people possibly in front of him, more money. I said in the Deontay Wilder fight video that I did just yesterday, or the day before, that I think possibly White could be in line for an AJ or Wilder towards the back end of next year. But I think if that doesn't happen, I think we could see Chisora White again, despite Chisora losing again. But there you go. I just thought I would just run through a few words about Derek Chisora. I think it was worthwhile. If you've got any thoughts and comments on Derek Chisora, I would love to hear them from you. We'll see you in the next video.